Hello everyone, my name is Craig and this is a video review of the Dart Zone Max Pro Stryker 2.0, a high-powered blaster by Dart Zone that claims it shoots over 200 FPS. Wicked cool blaster. Let's get into the review. Let's start out with the blaster overview. Starting up front, there's no end strike barrel lock. However, it does come with what they call a P-car barrel, basically accuracy boosting barrel. It's a short little barrel. You'll get better accuracy out of these, but for sacrificing velocity for better accuracy, and it has actual rifling in here that does work. But to screw that onto the barrel, you could just simply screw it on just like that, and it is interchangeable. This is the actual barrel that it comes with. Nothing wrong with that one, but slight difference in FPS, as in I think it's actually a little bit boosted, but not as accurate if you do it, or you cannot have on a barrel at all. We'll keep the small barrel on there for reasons. Getting up front, there is a large Dart Zone tactical rail up front that holds these little sights. These can be adjusted just like this, and they're simple slide on and off. Your Nerf attachments will not hook onto here at all. These are Dart Zone rails. These sights might help you aim a little bit if you're able to zero that very well, but good luck with that. They also have continuations of little Dart Zone rails on the side here. This is a little barrel holder, so basically the idea is if you put in the front barrel in here, you can hold the other barrel right in there. It's not fully held in there all the way. I mean, it's susceptible to gravity, so use that as you may, but that's a cool little feature of that. Getting down to the priming handle here, this blaster is spring powered and pump action. To prime, you do that and you push forward, and you're ready to fire once. The prime weight is significantly harder than elite blasters on the market right now, and it's significantly harder than something like an elite or sorry, not the elite, but the X-Shot long shot. It is much harder than that because this shoots at a higher velocity than that one, and the priming stroke is pretty short, so be aware of that as well. But the priming is very smooth as well. This blaster does have slam fire, which is cool. I'll get into that in my conclusion on that. Getting down to the back, this stock is removable and adjustable. You'll press this little orange button to adjust it, and it can come off. It's basically a buffer tube style, so if you haven't on any other Dart Zone buffer tube styles, you could do that. This stock is very comfortable and works well for my body type with that. Very secure on that, but you can change it out and adjust it however you want. With it, getting down to the grip is pretty comfortable and well proportioned to it. I have very small hands, and this blaster grips very well. And the texturing is of the type that, like, if you have sweaty hands, it's not going to slip off, so that's pretty cool. Getting down to the trigger system is pretty normal with this one. This blaster does have slam fire, so you'll hold down the trigger and then rack the priming handle each time and it will fire once it reaches the forward position. You know, that's pretty cool. Getting down here is a little flappy patty to release the magazine. With it, you can extend your middle finger off of the firing hand if you want to release the magazine. It's almost similar to what was that on the X-Shot long shot, except for it was on the side here. Pretty cool innovation. I like this a lot. Or you can also get to this mag release here, which is also a standard mag release here. This is mainly designed for if you want to strike it with your offhand, if that feels more comfortable to you, to release the magazine like that as well. These magazines are center line, so they're ambidextrous by default. But they work very well with it. And this blaster can take magazines as well as a turret. I'll get to that in a second. On the side here, on the side here is a little bit of a trigger safety. It is a trigger safety. So whichever, it says F and S on the sides. If you push S all the way in, blaster's on safe. If you push the F all the way in, it's on fire. So just note that whichever one is pushed in, that is how your blaster will go. Getting to the magazine and magazine well thing, technically this magazine well is removable, but we'll talk about the magazine itself. It comes with a 12-round Dart Zone magazine. This is compatible with Dart Zone Talon mags, not the angled ones, but the straight ones, and compatible with other magazines, such as like the ones that come with the Adventure Force Aeon Pro X and stuff like that, or the Maxim Pro, things like that. Those ones will fit in here. I happen to buy some worker magazines as well, and they fit in there just fine. So this blaster can use magazines as well, but you can also take an insertion in there. Is very smooth and simple, and is center line in there. Now this magwell can come out because you can put in the turret. We'll talk about the turret real quick. This is a 25-round turret, and it's another option that you can do within the blaster. Make sure that these two little things are pulled out, and you can simply rear load or front load the blaster. There's nothing stopping you from pushing them in too far or too far in, so be careful with that. But you can hold 25 rounds in this cylinder. I personally don't like using the cylinder because there's not multiple of these, and it gets really annoying to reload turrets and stuff. But it is another option that you can use. To install the turret, make sure your blaster's on safe. Prime back the blaster, take out the magazine well, press this flappy patty, take out the magazine. Then you can line up the notches with that, and you can put in the turret just like that. Feeding from this turret is absolutely pretty smooth. It will auto-rotate as you push and you fire with it in there. I haven't had any jams malfunction with the turret in there, so really good. I like this innovative design, giving us the options for it, but I'll go over that a little bit more in my conclusion, what I actually think about having each of the options in there. But that is cool. And if you want to take it out, you just simply pull it out like that, and you can put in the magazine well in there too. Make sure the blaster is primed back, otherwise it won't go in there very well. You will damage the blaster, but then you can do that, line it up, and then put in the magazine well, and you're ready to fire, and the magazine can go simply in like that. And then get it up front. There's nothing else really to manipulate and go over there. That is the external overview of the Stryker 2.0. Let's get into a firing demo. Starting off with magazines, the included mag and the included nitro shot bamboo darts. I'll see if I take it off the seat. Now switching over to larger worker mag, but with Adventure Force Ember darts. Slam fire. Now firing X-shot half-length darts. These came with the X-shot long shot. Slam fire. Oh shit. I only have 2 more darts after that little jam, so I'll fire those. And it just fired 2 at once. Alright, lastly, 15-round worker mag, but Nerf Pro darts. going to put in the drum magazine. We have 25 of the X-Shot half-length darts. So, firing analysis and conclusion of the Dart Zone Stryker 2.0. It's quite a mouthful of a blaster to say. I fired very well, actually. I did have a couple jams, actually, and I think that was from me either not loading the magazine fully or I was running this way too hard. I noticed it a lot on Slamfire and stuff. In there, but it's noticeable in the firing demo. It ceased up a bit on that one. And after I cleared out the jam and afterwards on that one, I think I snapped my O-ring on here, but I think something snapped in the blaster. I'll have to open it up and check with it, but I mean, it still fires fine with it, but I think something snapped when I think I ran it too hard or didn't load up something, but no, this thing is not prone to jamming is what I'm trying to say. I think this one was mechanical error with it. I was able to clear it pretty quickly and stuff with that. Velocity on this blaster, if you want the 200 FPS that the box claims, you can use it without any barrel, and that's how you will achieve 200 FPS. With the little P-car barrel, generally I got about 170, 180 FPS using that. Some people have gotten like 190. My chrono results varied a little bit differently. With the included barrel in there, about 180, 190 FPS with that. And that was almost standard throughout all the projectiles that I fired through that. That was with the Dart Zone Nitro Shot darts. The only ones that had really bad performance were the Nerf Pro darts. Obviously, don't get Nerf Pro darts unless you're using it in a Nerf Pro blaster. But, yeah, those ones had some weird FPS ones in there. But generally, the FPS can range as much as 170 to about 200 FPS. There's a range for you within that. Depending on what barrel you use and what dart types you use, the FPS will vary for that one. So I won't go ahead and give you just a solid number on that one. Slamfire worked really well, but I noticed it's just like the long shot. It almost doesn't allow you to run it super, super fast, because I think I broke something while doing that. And it's a very short stroke and mechanical stroke. You have to be deliberate about each one. It's going to be a shorter slam fire, if that really makes sense, right? And a slower slam fire that you had to do, but it's still slam fire. But it worked really well, though, despite that. And accuracy out of the blaster was really good. So all of that in mind, the ergonomics is really, really good. I like the form factor of the blaster and all of that, magazines. So the real thing that I want to talk about is the magazine versus the turret. And I would be leaning towards the magazines more than the turret. I think that this was a great innovation that Dart Zone made to give you guys the options of this. But without these being sold separately, if you don't buy a blaster that has similar things to these, or you're not able to modify a turret to be able to take short darts and something like this, this is really all you have. And I know you could reload and all of this stuff, but I feel like a turret, generally, especially a high-powered turret, has more disadvantages than advantages. Now, that is still a lot for short darts when we're comparing to it. 40 in long darts is a lot. But you'd also have drum magazines as well that can shoot almost that capacity. You have 35 round and now a 50 round drum mag with long darts. With short darts, you don't really have magazines that do that much with it. I have an 18 round short dart mag. This is like 25 rounds. So that's up to you to decide. I personally don't. Now, after firing it, I find this more of a hassle, especially trying to have to rip it out of the blaster all the time. So I'm be using magazines a whole lot better, just because I have more of it on hand, and it's just better to just grab from your gear from that instead of trying to worry about the turret so much. Now, if it was, I still think that the blaster would be really, really good if it was only a turret fed blaster. I really think that that's cool. But having this option to put in the magazines, I just think that it's more practical to try to run magazines with it. I get the innovation idea, and I think it was a smart marketing and innovation idea. I just don't know if the execution, if you really think about it in practicality, I don't know a whole lot of people that run cylinder fed blasters, at least with this high capacity, often. There probably are people that do that, but practicality sense, a lot of people are going to stick with magazines, and so am I. But aside from that, my personal opinion on this blaster is super high. This is a really high performing blaster. If you're a parent that is watching this and watching this far into this, I wouldn't get this for your child unless if they're like 22 or stuff. But if you're like, if your child's much older, you're probably not buying stuff for him anyway. Then you're going to say, go get a job and buy it yourself. But for little kids on this is way too powerful. Yes, this is almost shooting with the 200 FPS. That's almost super stock territory with it. This is definitely almost performance competitive based FPS within this. If you're running just a house war, and this is not the option to go for you. I wouldn't be using any short dart blaster in a normal house war. This is, you'll hurt somebody with this. So if you're outside, run it around with and have certain game types for it, this blaster could be good. Now, unlike the X-Shot long shot, that actually still shoots at higher velocity but less velocity than that might be a better option in some other cases than this one. But I think that you're getting better quality and just better overall for $50 with this than you would trying to pick up a long shot. I think the X-Shot long shot, in my opinion, is actually still a decent blaster, especially if you're trying to get into high power blasters. I think this is almost a little too much. You might be overwhelmed by trying to do short dart mags and all of this stuff, but maybe not. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion based on the information given. But not for everyone, but still really, really good blaster. That's my thoughts on this one. My recommendations, compare and contrast what's there on the market on now, because something like a Worker Harrier can also do what this thing can do for less as well. Well, so my recommendations to you guys is compare and contrast what options are out there. What is your budget? What do you need for your particular game type? If you're a planker, why do you have high power blasters to begin with, besides maybe to have fun, which is valid reason. But if this seems like that this is more towards competitive type nerfers with that type of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of different options I'm not going to get into here, but definitely still a niche option for people trying to get into competitive with that. So that's my thoughts and general overview of the Dart Zone Pro Max Stryker 2.0. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. My name is Craig, and I will see you guys in the next one.